Hi mathematicians, this is the guided practice for estimating products. Martha rides 29 miles on her bicycle every day. About how many miles does Martha ride in 6 weeks? So if Martha is riding 29 miles on her bike every day, that's one day, and we want to know how much she rides in 6 weeks, we first need to find out how many days are in 6 weeks. So we can do that pretty quickly by multiplying 6 weeks times 7 days. That will give us a total of 42 days. But now we need to figure out how many miles she rides in 42 days. So if we round, if we round 29, we're going to round to the nearest tens place. So I'm going to find my place, look next door. I'm going to circle this digit because when I'm done with it, it's going to turn to a 0. So I can actually go ahead and drop that 0 down. 5 or greater, add 1 more. So because 9 is greater than 5, I'm going to add 1 more to the place I'm rounding. So 1 plus 2 gives me 3. So 29 rounded is rounds to 30. Now I'm going to round this 42. So I'm going to find my place, look next door. I'm going to circle this number because when I'm done with it, it's going to turn to a 0. I can go ahead and drop that down. 5 or greater, add 1 more. 4 or less, let it rest. So because this 2 is less than 4, the place that I'm rounding is going to rest. It's going to stay a 4. So 42 rounds to 40, 29 rounds to 30. Now I can multiply these to get an answer. So when I'm multiplying by multiples of 10, I can take these zeros out, go ahead and move them to my product, and then all I'm left with is multiplying this 3 times the 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So that gives me a product of 1,200 miles. So A is 180 miles. That might have been, so this was a tricky question. So if I rounded 29 to 30 and multiplied by 6, I would have got 180 miles. So that would have been for only 6 days when we wanted to know what 6 weeks was. 800 miles, no. 1,200 miles, maybe, and 1,400 miles was just a little bit too big. So it looks like C is our correct answer choice. Okay. Philip plans to try out for the baseball team. He practiced at the batting cages for 12 days. He hit 48 balls each day. What is a reasonable estimate for the total number of balls Philip hit during the 12 days? So we're looking for an estimate for the total number of balls hit during 12 days. So we're going to round 12 and round 48. So I'm going to round to the tens place. So I'm going to find my tens place, look next door. I'm going to circle this number next door because it's going to turn to a 0. 5 or greater, add 1 more. 4 or less, let it rest. So because this 2 is less than 4, the 1 is going to rest. It's not going to change. So 12 rounds to 10. So looking at 48, find our place, look next door. 5 or greater. So this 8 is bigger than 5. We're going to add 1 more to the place we're rounding. Then this 8 is going to turn to 0. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So 48 rounds to 50. Now we're going to multiply those factors. So remember, when I'm multiplying by multiples of 10, I can take out those zeros, go ahead and move them to my product. And now we're multiplying 5 times 1, which gives me 5. So an estimate of 500 balls hit during the 12 days or 10 days. But remember, we're just estimating. So F 200, that's a little too small. G 400, nope. H, 500, or J, 700, which is just slightly too big. So H looks like our correct answer choice. All right. Copperscove High School purchased 32 backpacks for $17 each. So one backpack was $17. What is a reasonable estimate for the total cost of the backpacks? So we're going to round the amount of backpacks we have as well as the cost of the backpacks. So I'm going to round to the tens place. I'm going to find my place, look next door. This number is going to turn to a 0. I'm only using it to determine whether my 3 is going to grow by 1 or stay the same. So I can go ahead and drop that 0 down. 5 or greater, add 1 more. 4 or less, let it rest. It's less than 4, so this 3 is going to rest. So 32 rounds to 30. Let's round 17 to the tens place. Find my place, look next door. I'm going to go ahead and drop that 0 down. 5 or greater, 7 is greater than 5, so we're going to add 1 more. And remember, we're adding 1 more to the place that we're rounding. So 1 plus 1 would be 2. 17 rounds to 20. We now can multiply those factors. When I'm multiplying by multiples of 10, I can scoop those zeros out, go ahead and move them to my product, and then I'm left multiplying 3 times 2. 3 times 2, oops, let me move these zeros. 3 times 2 is 6. So it looks like our best estimate is 600. A is just a little bit too big. B looks just right. C might be a little low. D is way low. So it looks like B is our correct answer choice. And last one. Jasmine buys 43 packs of Pokemon cards. Holy moly, Jasmine. Each pack of cards costs $12. How much did Jasmine spend on Pokemon cards? So I'm going to estimate. To see how much Jasmine spent on Pokemon cards. So I'm going to round to the tens place, find my place, look next door. 5 or greater, add 1 more. 4 or less, let it rest. So because this 3 is less than 4, I'm going to let the place that I'm rounding to stay the same. I'm going to let it rest. The 3 turns to a 0, so 43 rounds to 40. Find my place, look next door. I'm going to circle that because it's going to turn to a 0. 5 or greater, add 1 more. 4 or less, let it rest. So the 1 is going to rest. I can now multiply those factors, scoop my zeros out, go ahead and move them to my product, and then I am left multiplying 4 times 1, which gives me 4 for a total product of 400. So it looks like Jasmine spent about $400 on Pokemon cards.